All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Tuna Status, the podcast. We're out here with my guy,
Serge Vieux from Redlinesproject.
All right, so we're here. Shout out to Fusion 5 Motorsports for sponsoring the pod and holding us down. I want to thank you guys for supporting and showing love over the past few, honestly, it's been a little over a year. It's as fast as time has gone by and everything like that. It's been really, really dope. So let's talk about it. We're going to talk about everything from photography to being in the car scene, dad life, all that stuff. Let's start from the beginning with you and cars, let's say.
Ooh, this goes back. I want to say this is before car seats, everyone, so I'm dating myself now.
Oh.
But word on the street is that my mom, when my dad would drive, she'd like hold me in the front, and my dad would say, "That's a Mustang, that's a Supra," in the old school American wagon. So it started probably toddler.
Yeah?
Toddler. Okay. Ever since then, my boy says I have gas for blood.
All right. So
Yeah.
What was the first car that really caught your eye when you was really younger?
2. Fox body Mustang, like the 89 with the louvers on the back. Square body.
Boys in the
hood. And then a Mark II Toyota Supra.
Okay.
My dad's boy had one. So it was like American and JDM. That was like my heavy influence growing up.
Oh, shoot. So how'd you get into photography now?
Not for cars.
Yeah?
Had a son, and I was like, let me capture some moments. Let me be like an active father.
What did you start with a camera, though?
Okay, I got 2 answers for that. For cars, I started on not even a camera, a phone.
Okay.
Helped me kind of frame my shots. It was a Nexus 5. Sorry, Apple people, I apologize for offending y'all.
I had one, so.
Nexus 5, shot on that, learned my framing. Then I got a Canon T3i.
No shit.
Had that, shot on that for a long time. Had my nifty 50, made it work. And as time goes on, got into the mirrorless game. Still a Canon guy. Favorite is my 24-70 lens. My brother's, let me not lie. My brother's 24-70 lens, 85. Because of you, I started shooting with 35. We had that conversation, and I was like, this dude don't know what he's talking about. No. The photos come out fire with a 35, so I'll give that to you, Rex. But yeah.
Shout out to LaShawn.
always, the homie, right? But yeah, outside of that, that's been like I've been a Canon guy and been into cars forever. So photography's going on 12 years now. Solid. Yeah.
So you spoke on, having your son. How is that balance with dad life and becoming a dad?
It's, in the beginning, it's inconsistent, being a dad and then also trying to be in the car scene. Not easy, as you know.
Yeah.
There are breaks, but when you're doing breaks by not shooting, I like to learn. So YouTube University, reading books, talking to other photographers, getting their views, even people that are not shooting cars. People that do portraits, people that do all of the types of photography. So while I'm not shooting, I'm always doing something in photography. So my brain is always primed for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you talked about consistency. What allowed you to find your balance, though, between dad life and, having a significant other and sharing time with that and still trying to maintain your passion?
It's a juggling act, as every active present father knows. You gotta make time for the family. That's number one. Bringing my kids into it with me helps.
Okay.
So we have similar interests. My daughter likes cars. My son he's into it pretty heavy as well. So yeah, I bring them into it. I bring them to shoots with me. We do all kinds of stuff together. We spend a lot of quality time. We build those foundational memories. So it's a juggling act, but if you can bring people into it, it's good.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So, beyond cars, what else are you shooting besides cars?
I'm glad you mentioned that. Done some weddings, construction, real estate photography, and also some headshots.
Okay.
Portraits.
What was the most challenging though for you to get comfortable with?
Portraits are a nightmare. People blink,
Yeah.
make a weird face. You gotta take like, cars don't move.
Yeah.
Air it out. Turn this way.
And it's just one color. You shoot a red car, it's a red car. You
Skin-
shooting skin tones, that's the biggest thing with me. And I feel like doing
Rex.
portrait photography taught me so much more because when you shoot a skin tone, it's the lighting on this side is dark, the lighting on this side is light, or if it's too harsh or, it's too red,
Everything you're saying is facts. Shooting portraits humbled me. Because you think you're a monster shooting cars, like, yeah, nothing can stop me.
Yeah.
No, portraits to let you know. Come back down to reality. You learn real quick. You learn how to edit all over again.
Yeah.
So it's. I love black and white portraits. I'm not gonna lie. Cheat code. But I have a great network of people. I've getting recommended for, like I said, weddings. I got friends and family in the real estate game. They're like, "Oh, you're my guy." So I'm a call away.
That's what's up.
Yeah, man.
So over the time, for the past few years, you've been shooting a lot of cars. Was that like a personal goal for you? Or was you just like, I want to get out there, I want to be active?
The last 2 years, I've had to adult a lot.
Okay.
So I probably shot like 25 shoots in about 2 years, which for me is low. But in 2020, the beginning of the pandemic,
Yeah.
90 shoots.
So, you got the pandemic. Everybody's 6 feet apart. How does the photographer, unless you got a, 100mm lens, how are you pulling that off?
So obviously you had to be safe, right? Because we all didn't know how the pandemic was going to work out. So I DM people would DM me, yo, I'm bored.
Yeah.
I'm like, me too. We're all doing like solitary confinement at home. And I would just say, okay, I'm down to shoot. I'm not
Streets is
getting.
empty.
I got a story about that. So I would tell them like, hey, let's say 6 feet apart. I'll shoot the car. You stay in the car. If I want to get interior shots, I'll shoot your car from. I had a lens that could do some work some magic. So the amount of people that were like, yes, it was like 50% people like, I need something to do, and me going, I never shot with this person. Let me give it a shot. Everybody said yes. I'm like, my car's doing nothing.
Yeah.
90 in a year. It's the craziest thing I've ever done.
That's nuts. That's nuts. So how's been the balance between finding the cars that you shoot with quantity over quality? How do you feel about some of the cars you shot?
So I would say like maybe 25% of the people I reach out to, it's because I'm like, I've never seen this before. I'm just going to see if they're interested. Then we kind of go from there. But a lot of people reach out to me. So and we'll even go to like builds, right? People say, okay, this one's clapped out, that's trash. But if that's that person's goal, it's subjective. You got your M3 done a certain way. I have a slammed SUV. We all move different, right? But I'm an OEM plus kind of guy.
Okay.
But I love shooting cars that are ridiculous.
So, speaking now quantity over quality, social media and Instagram. How is Instagram, what are some of the challenges that you faced yourself as a photographer? Because now we're seeing quantity versus quality. We're in a space now where a lot of people aren't reaching out to the photographer because they can just pull up their cell phone. And a lot of people aren't caring about the difference with quality because it's still garnering the same numbers. You're not seeing too many cinematic videos and features of cars. You're not seeing too many photos as far as full shoots and spreads.
Yeah, very true.
How do you feel about that?
I would say probably in the last 2 or 3 years with phones, cameras, like almost catching up to mirrorless, it's been interesting. But I think you probably have the same. We all, as photographers, have like a base group of people. So over time, especially if you're like you're good to the clients, and then you develop a good relationship. You have like a base, depending on the amount of years you've put in. You got like your 10, 15, 20, 30 people that are like, yo, it's a new year.
Yeah.
I got carbon fiber. Let's do it, right? We get those. So yeah, that's really what it is for me. I have a really great group of people that have now become my friends.
Yeah.
Outside of cars, outside of photography. How your kid? Isn't it your kid's birthday? This and that, and vice versa. So yeah, it's dope.
So, have you found yourself in a position where you've adapted now to the standards of social media? Do you feel like it's challenged you more to improve your work, or do you feel like the quality is now depreciated with the imagery that you see online?
If you're a creative, you're always gonna push yourself to get better, always. So like social media has nothing to do with that with me.
Okay.
Social media is like half business, half just catching up,
Okay.
right? So for me, it's like I don't get caught up in drama or this picture didn't get a lot of likes. I thought it was dope. I posted it, and then I
Okay.
walk away,
That's
right?
dope.
I mean, that's really what it is. But I'm also probably aging myself because the younger, not all, but I don't live and die by social media. That'll never be a thing for me. It's a creative outlet. I met some dope people on Instagram and Twitter and all that.
Yeah.
So for me, it's dope.
So, what's some of the photographers that you've met throughout the years that you actually kind of like some of their work and what they're doing?
This is what I wish I had notes. You put me on the spot. That's
Yeah.
all right. This guy, he's all right. He does some good work.
Oh my God.
He does some good work. I gotta shout him out first and foremost. Nah, he does some good work.
I've slacked a lot, bro. I haven't, because I've been so focused on this, honestly. Like,
No. I gotta give you your props now. So I remember when we first met in person was at Beast Coast. Shout out to Matt.
yeah.
Underneath in
Shout out to
Boston.
my guy.
Yep. Absolutely. Beast Coast, always top quality guys, top quality with everything they do. I love it. Will Gordon, we used to work together back in the day, so shout out Will. LaShawn, always. I'm trying to think who else. People that I rock with, like on a regular basis. Definitely Matt. He's done some stuff in the past. I appreciate his stuff too. There's a bunch of others, and that's why I told this guy earlier I was trying to have some notes so I wouldn't miss anybody. I can't think of anybody else right now, but don't feel disrespected. There's so many.
Nobody else?
Huh?
Nobody else?
Man,
No, I'm just messing with you.
I don't like this, man. You're making me sweat, bro. But
Nah, it's not like I asked you, any photographers you don't like.
no. Julio.
Don't
Can't
like?
forget you. Huh?
Do like or don't like?
Oh no, Julio, that's the homie.
All right,
Oh,
cool. I thought you were going to say, damn, bro.
I'm a vegetarian. I got no beef, baby. I'm all set. Nah, no beef. We're good.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so how'd you find your style of photography?
I'm not gonna lie to you, that took like 5 years.
Yeah?
Oh yeah. Because you research people, okay, let me just copy what this person does. But it doesn't feel like you. Then I do what this person does. Nah, that don't feel like you either. So you gotta go on a journey to figure out, just like in life, right? When you're a teenager, you figure out who you are before you become an adult.
Now we're moving on. We've talked about the balance with you and your kids. We've talked about the balance with social media and finding your consistency in your style.
Yep.
What's next with you? Do you want to pursue more in the portraits, the events, the corporate events per se?
Right.
The real estate, the cars. What are you more leaning towards to now?
It's probably a tie between like cars and portraits right now.
Yeah.
Now, shout out to my kids.
Yeah.
I get to practice on them a lot. My son especially, he's a preteen now. He's like, Dad, come on. But I'm like, I got to sharpen my skills. So
Yeah.
I would say right now I like portraits and I like cars right now. And the third would be like urban photography,
Okay.
like street photography, like catching graffiti, Chinatown vibes,
Yeah.
urban stuff. Like I like that a lot.
That honestly, I like urban photography. I feel like that's one of my weakest points because I see the image that I want to capture, but it's like by the time I get home and I look at that photo and I'm like, that's not what I saw.
I got a story for you. During the pandemic, you mentioned earlier, right? Streets were dead.
Yeah.
This had to have been like the second month where everyone's like, you're not allowed to leave your house. I
Which
go
was
down.
wild.
I go downtown to clear my head, just get some me time. I get down there. You know where the Paramount? Is it Paramount?
Yeah.
There's a theater down there has like the lights
The
that are
lights,
glowing.
yeah.
So I take a shot. I leave it alone. Maybe 2 weeks later, I go back to edit it. I'm like, oh, let me find something to post on my personal.
Yeah.
and I just brought the shadows almost all the way down, like almost like as dark as I could get it.
Yeah.
And the paramount sign is just glowing red, green, and orange. When I tell you, I was like, I'm a photographer.
Yeah.
That moment hit me. It wasn't even a car.
Yeah.
It wasn't a person. I was like, I could sell this joint if I wanted to.
Yeah, and that's when you was feeling
I
yourself.
was
You
like,
was like, yo, this shit
I'm
tough.
here. And I think that's when I found I was like, I can shoot and do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That was, like 2020. So before then, I found my style for automotive, but you got to find your style in everything else.
Okay.
So I'm still on a journey, and I'll probably, as an old man, I'll probably still never get there either, which is fine. The journey is worth it.
So, like, for me personally, sometimes I have those moments, though, where I had some photos that I thought was really hot. And then I go back, and I'm just like, dog, what was I doing? Like, I done that recently. I'm not even gonna lie. I went back to photos I shot years ago.
Yeah.
And I looked at where that clarity slider was, and I was just like, dog, why is this on 90?
It's
Stop.
Yeah, the editing, I think, is part of the journey.
Yeah.
So, like, you realize, too, like, I'll even give you an example. I had someone that had a really bright colored car, and they were like, the car's too rich.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, tell me what you want. And he's like, can you bring that down? I brought it down just a smidge. He's like, this is exactly what I wanted. Now, personally, it's not my vibe. But when you have a customer, you have a client that is like long-term, they love it, it's all that matters. So, at the same time, like even going back to the whole having like that base group of people and taking that constructive criticism and being adult enough to be like, this is what you like. Okay, cool. You learn from that too.
Yeah.
And you get your style from learning from others, right? Other creatives in your area, learning from the people that you shoot from. This is what I like, this is what I like. So I even get to the point now where I ask people how you want to edit it. Because I try to make the cars look as real as possible, but some people want even more than that.
Yeah.
And that's fine, because I want it to look good to the eye. I don't want it to look so processed that it's just like all bokeh and then just like a little car. Ooh.
Yeah, I know.
It's got to look like something that your eye could enjoy.
Exactly.
Aesthetically pleasing. So,
talking about progression and things you've learned over the years, let's talk about it. If somebody DMs you online and, real cool person, they sit there and they say, hey, I'm getting into photography. Give me let's do a top 5. Top 5 do's and top 5 don'ts. Because they say hindsight is 20/20. And if you can go back, you know what? Let's just skip the person DMing you.
Just in
Let's
general.
go to yourself.
Okay. What I would tell myself back
You
then?
can tell yourself top 5 do's and don'ts.
Try not to copy others. It's natural for us to want to do it. Just don't. Just find you cut the time in how you feel you find your voice or the way you do it much better.
Okay.
So I would say just focus, but it's tough because it's like, okay, he's been doing it for like 3 years longer than me. He must be way ahead. Second, don't oversaturate your photos when you're editing. Sunlight, the car's paint looks crazy. Don't do that. Be good to the people that you shoot with. Don't be an a-hole.
Yeah.
Because that will be your reputation.
Yeah.
No matter if you change, you evolve, you become a better person. That's 3. Number 4, don't worry about the gear. Get your skills up.
That was my first one.
Get your skills up. I got caught up in that. I need this, I need that, I need this, I need that.
Oh, I spent so much money, bro. I've spent so
Cars
much.
and photography have got to be the most expensive hobbies.
Bro. And I tried to, and LaShawn, he was on my ass, bro. He was just like, learn your gear, and if you feel the need to evolve, evolve.
If you don't need to.
But if you don't need to, learn how to use it. Man, I was out there trading. Man, Hunt was making bread off of me, bro. Between Sigma 35s to 24 to 70s, back to 24 millimeter prime, back to 85, all this other shit. And then now I'm back to ground zero, shooting a 50 millimeter f1.2, and that lens lives on my camera. That's what we're shooting on right now.
But a 51 too, I mean, come on. For
So,
Canon, Sony, it doesn't matter. That is chef's
like,
kiss, man.
I don't know. I just gravitate to it. But definitely learn your gear, guys. Learn your gear. Save the money, bro.
And the headaches too,
Yeah.
right? Because it's like you get caught up with, photography influencers, and they're like, you got to get this, you got to get that. These people are being sponsored so they can get a $6,000 lens for nothing. Yes, you heard me right. 6,000, 7,000, and that's not even scratching the surface.
Because they're all screaming the same template. Bokeh, 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 bokeh.
A little bit.
And,
Less is more.
And it's like, what, bro? Like, nah. And then people are just shooting with this much focus, and it's like, nah, man. Sometimes you really gotta freaking step down that lens and,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
grab everything because it'll make the photo look so much better.
For sure. You're saying 5 do's.
Now, 5 dudes, man. We gotta get into it.
5 do's. We got to do positive. All right. I would say number 1, find like-minded people to collaborate with, whether it's photo or video. Okay. You can learn so much because we all have one lane. Even though Rex shoots cars, I shoot cars, we see cars completely differently.
True. Very true.
Collaborate. Stay focused is number 2. If you're really into the car thing, I'm not saying for you not to shoot other things, but at least give 90% to that. It will pay in dividends. Number 3, start, if you're a professional photographer, if you're planning to be a professional photographer, shoot for free for like the first 3-4 years till you find your way of shooting cars or shooting whatever. Number 4, be good to everybody. Photographers coming up that are, just starting out, photographers that have been in the game for a while, and everybody that's stuck in the middle.
Yeah.
Be good to everybody. Last but not least, pass on the knowledge to the next generation.
Yeah.
Because I've learned so much from photographers older than I am that don't even shoot cars, but have given me so much wisdom.
Yeah.
And now if I meet a younger photographer, I had someone reach out to me in the DMs going like, you don't ever take down any of your old photos? I'm like, I want you to see my progression over the years. So I'm not going to take a photo. I'm not going to take any photos down.
Yeah.
Unless someone's like, could you please take my photo down? But that's never happened. So I would say the last one, definitely pass on the wisdom, your do's, your don'ts, the mistakes you've made, all the money you spent.
I spent so many.
All the money you spent. Show them the ways how to get a good body.
Yeah.
Right, for your camera. It doesn't matter if you're a Sony or a Canon or a Nikon, it doesn't matter. Show them how to get it cheap, show them how to get lenses that way. Once you get, your capital up, then you can go crazy.
Yeah.
If you have paying customers. So, yeah.
All right. So now it's funny that you said with one of your points with not charging. Do you feel like, I'm trying to find the best way to word this.
Yeah, go for it.
It's price point on your work.
Yes.
Do you feel like that's dependent on the quality that you're providing to your customer or the quality of what the customer is asking you to shoot?
I think as your skill grows, you charge more, but not egregious, right? Because if you price gouge people, you're going to price yourself out of having those loyal customers, right? So I think you price within the margins, right? There has to be some kind of profit, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's mostly based off of the expectations, I think, of the person, right? But then also like the level of work and your body of work. That has to show. That's why that's the good thing about social media. You show your body of work going back how long.
Yeah.
I'll give you a story about in my times as doing a free shot. I had a dealership here, it's unnamed, luxury dealership, reach out to me. Someone hit me in the DMs. Would you like to come to our dealership? Cool. What do you want me to do? We want you to shoot some of our sports cars and luxury SUVs from across the pond. I won't go any further. I said, absolutely. I reached out to a cousin of mine that, shout out to Sydney, X Images, and we did some stuff. I'll probably post those videos later.
Yeah.
But it's back in 2021. Still semi-lockdown, right? They needed some content for free. It didn't even cross my mind to charge these dudes. Why would I do that? Because they'll talk to other people going, he does good work. His cousin does great video. You need to hire them.
Yeah.
And it's paid for me in dividends, not in dollars, but in relationships.
Yeah.
That can definitely cash in way later. So I think that's one of my photography highlights for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's dope. You know, because when it comes to, because with us, with our work, you know, that's one thing I respect more about LaShawn. He's stubborn and hard-headed as hell.
Yep.
But his
All
work
facts.
speaks for itself.
For sure.
He doesn't chase clout. He doesn't chase what's trending online. He sets his own bar, and those that respect his bar follow suit and support.
Absolutely.
But it's hard because you
Absolutely.
invest time,
Yeah.
energy, time away from the family when it comes to this.
Yep.
And at some point, you're like, where does this reciprocate when it comes to currency?
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
how do you explain to your significant other that, hey, I might shoot this car $400, but I priced out a whole event for $250. The math doesn't math.
Sure.
And that's when a lot of
Sure.
people don't understand. And it's like they want, let's say, 25 photos,
Yeah.
but they want 5 photos at $50. And how much does that work out for you? You know?
You know, for me, it all depends, right? So, like, if someone's rocked with me for a long time,
Yeah.
and they're like, I'm going through a tough time right now, but in the past they've been consistent, that's not going to bother me.
Yeah.
If this was my main source of income, I'll be like, all right, let's find another way to get this done.
Yeah.
I'm not a full-time photographer.
Have you thought about it?
You know what my dream job is?
What?
Shooting cars all over the world, traveling. Like Larry Chen.
Yeah.
That is, Larry Chen
I mean,
is the
everybody,
guy.
yo, he's got it good. Yo, listen.
Man.
But that man works, though. Works.
I didn't say he didn't work.
No,
I said
he works.
that is, I legit watched a
Yeah.
video about him in Tennessee. They were doing like a drift competition, and obviously he's testing the new camera, Canon R1. But I know it was like a Canon ad. I wasn't even paying attention to the camera because I was like, I just saw myself there, like Larry. Someday, if I could do that, one day I'll hit you up from Japan. Like, you won't guess where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
Put you on FaceTime. Like, what? Bosuzoku everywhere, bro.
Yeah.
You know, that's the dream job. Taking photos of cars, getting paid for it, traveling. Come on, man.
So your dream ideals, let's say your dream ideal setup.
Yep.
You're traveling.
Yep.
You got your gear with you.
Yep.
What camera you shooting with?
Money's no object.
They're sponsoring for you to take the trip. What company is backing you?
Canon all day, man. I stay strapped with the Canons. Come on.
What do you mean? What happened to Sony?
Rex. Listen, it's the same thing like Apple and Android. No.
Oh, man.
It's the same thing.
Wait, but who's Apple?
I'm not going there.
Oh,
I gotta wait
man.
for the train now.
Canon is... Yo, listen, don't get them Panasonic niggas started.
I'm not. I don't.
You know that's
There's
what
a-
Sean
there-
is shooting with now, right? Don't get him started, man. Yo, listen.
Listen.
The autofocus,
I'm not saying anything about any other brands. I'm just talking about what I like to shoot with.
okay.
I like to shoot with Canons.
Yeah.
That's fine. I got my brother Ralph. He shoots with Canons. He was shooting with Nikon before.
Yeah.
Right? But he likes the Canon ecosystem. I get it. Another friend of mine, Valerie, and she used to shoot, I think she shoots with Nikons now.
Yeah.
And then my homie Chris Godfrey down in Houston, the homie, he shoots with Canon as well. Those three people I just mentioned are my photography mentors.
Yeah.
And two of them are younger than me.
You know
But-
shooting Sony right now, right?
Who's shooting with Sony now?
Will.
I'm still cool. I'm still cool with Will. It's still homies, bro. It's still homies. At the end of the day, it's about personalities, right?
Yeah.
Brands, I mean, it's all marketing, right? Apple is the king of marketing. I got an Apple phone for work. I got an Android personal. I'm in both worlds. It doesn't matter to me.
So let's talk about this dream tour that you got going on. You're shooting Canon,
Yep.
and
There was no need for that. There was no need for that. No need for that.
but you're shooting Canon. Where you going?
I want to go to Europe. I want to see for me, if I'm doing the dream job, I want to shoot like the street the street car scene, right? The lower cars, modified. I also want to shoot the other side.
Yeah.
The Porsches, the Astons, the Lambos. I love all cars.
So you have the dream set up.
Yep.
You got the Canon.
Yep.
You traveling. Tell me where you're going.
UK, Singapore, Japan. I'm trying to think of anywhere else. These are all international first. I want to start with there. Australia for sure, not too long because the animals out there are wild.
I know, I just saw a reel with that shit, them spiders, bro.
Nope, I'm not there. I'm not about that
shit.
life. In America, New York, Jersey, Florida,
Yeah.
Georgia. I got some people down in Georgia actually in the car scene. There's a couple of shops down there.
Yeah.
They're serious down there. In the import scene, not even with the Hellcats, like in the import scene. I would say Arizona, definitely Cali, Pacific Northwest for sure. I'm trying to think in the Midwest. Probably Chicago. I don't really hear too much about their car scene out there, but
You gotta
definitely
see
East
it.
Coast.
You gotta
Oh,
see
and
it.
DC. DC area for sure. And like I said, I love the way the Sony photos come out. So I'm never gonna like.
I will say,
I don't talk trash. You know what I mean? But
Sony's cool when you're doing video, when you're doing cars, and low light things. I will give it to Canon when it comes down to the overall image and portraits and skin tones.
yes,
Canon just shits on everything. The way how it brings skin tones.
yeah. No,
and,
you're right.
And the image itself, how it just, the quality of it.
Yeah.
That glass, dude, is like, I don't know what the fuck they put in. Dude, it's like made out of unicorn tears, dude, whatever the fuck it is, man, because I see some like really, really high quality Canon shots, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
fuck, what did he shoot this on? And I'm like,
I'm gonna keep it real with you though. Y'all have you have like the aftermarket lenses.
yeah.
Canon's all proprietary.
You can't play with Canon, man. Canon's expensive, bro. Canon is expensive, man.
You're a Sony person talking about Canon's expensive.
Yo, a Canon like lens is like a whole Sony body.
All right, this is the conversation we're gonna have off camera because it's just this is gonna be like that's a whole nother pod just talking about cameras and all that.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So who's more into? Cause kids, they're sponges.
Yes.
Who do you see picking up the camera more?
Oh, my son for sure.
Yeah.
Right now, definitely my son.
Yeah.
He's huge into. He loves his favorite car is a McLaren P1 GTR, right? So he's seen me shoot a couple of McLarens. I think he's seen me shoot like one P1, and he's asked me for a camera. He's like, I'm trying to get on this, trying to get this money. I go, I didn't get paid for years.
Like,
Tonight's the night, man.
yeah.
Tonight's the night. My daughter's showing interest as well, but right now I would definitely say my son for sure. He definitely wants to follow in the footsteps. I go, I'm all for it. I'm showing him the ropes,
Yeah.
showing him how to edit, showing him how to shoot, how to move files from one to another, back up those files. I've learned my lesson from that as well.
Yeah.
So just showing, kind of giving him that wisdom so that way by the time he's ready to shoot, his window of trying to find itself will be a lot shorter. So yeah, definitely my son for sure. I have to spend more time shooting my daughter, but yeah.
So moving from shooting the cars and the portraits, what's the headspace like when you go to an event? What is that like? What are you trying to capture? What's the essence you're trying to capture?
Two things. I do if you ever see me at an event, I do 2 laps. The first lap is cars that I just like. Me selfish, that I'm probably not going to share. Most photographers, I'm like, let me get mine first.
Yeah.
And then you do the whole event coverage where you get everything. Even cars that you may not even like, you post them, you tag the person, just see where it goes, right? And it's always good to use your platform to boost others, right?
Yeah.
I'm a big proponent of that. So like I always try to find a person's IG, send them, and I'll send the photos to them for free. I'm like, yeah, have them. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then we usually will build a relationship off of that,
Yeah.
off of it being genuine, and Usually after that, it's like, well, how much you charge? And I'm like, give him my price. It's like, you don't charge a lot. I'm like, this isn't my job. This is to cover certain things and then the next camera.
Yeah.
That's
Pretty
it.
much. Pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Now, you shoot an event,
Yep.
and I know you can relate on this because I have my own, and I've seen other people have their own. Give me your top 5 pet peeves while shooting an event.
Oh, man, Rex.
As a photographer.
The spectators not moving when they see you have like a whole setup.
I knew that's going to be the first one.
That might be 1 through 3. I may not have much after that. Anyone that knows me outside of social media and in social media, I'm like the black Mr. Rogers. I'm calm, cool, collected. Blood pressure rarely gets high.
Yeah.
But it's the people that they see you and
They're talking to you.
they refuse to move.
And they know you're there.
And I always say in this, it's like a normal voice, like, hey, do you mind moving? When they act like they don't hear you. I'm speaking in this tone right now. That's 1 through 3, Rex. So we're just going to jump to number 4 right now. I would say, unfortunately, owners that think that their cars, like, who are you to shoot their car?
Yo.
That's happened to me one time.
I got asked to see my IG and how many followers I got. One time.
That's never happened to me.
Yeah. It was
One time.
It was a premiere event.
Yeah, one time. So that's number 4 where people, because at the end of the day, my gear is probably worth as much as your wheel setup. If we're keeping it a buck. Not just your wheels and your suspension, but we're not going to do that, right? No. And then number 4 will be it's probably because it's summer send-off, but the heat.
Yeah.
I lose 5 pounds every single time. I'll go there at 2:30 and I'll be done at 2:25.
But we gained in that Jose's restaurant, though.
That is true.
That food,
that is true.
That food hits.
That is very true. So events are challenging, but they're a lot of fun. You see a lot of people that you shoot with, other creatives that you collaborate with.
Yeah.
So it's always a good time. The event promoters, the ones that are actually putting on the event, the organizers, the team. So it's usually a good time. So yeah.
You know, one thing I noticed that's different is that I wish that there was somebody on a media team for some of these event promoters that handled parking. Because if their event was displayed better in a showcase instead of just fitting everybody in a parking lot,
you took the words right out of my mouth.
it would be, the media that would be grabbed for the day would be epic. If they utilized the space that they were in and actually displayed a showcase versus making people feel like they're in a parking lot, I think it would give us some breathing room to get really creative. Because having every car parked in a straight line, it's different. And I get it. It's their show. And they have to do whatever they're doing. And that's because
it's
a
numbers game.
As a promoter, I get it. You're trying to fit 150 to 400 cars in a parking lot. How are you going to make this work?
Right.
You can't space them out because then what are you going to do? But the challenges of not trying to make every photo look exactly the fucking same is crazy.
You and I spoke about this 2 or 3 years ago, off camera and all that, and we both said if there was a way to get a location big enough where it's like either a team parks together or it's like 2 or 3 cars that are semi-spaced out. Give us like 18 inches between cars. Butter.
Exactly.
But because of event spaces, and it's like you want top tier cars there, but you also want the numbers so you can help pay for the venue. Yeah. So I understand the numbers game, but if a photographer ever, and I'm gonna put this out there to the universe, maybe it's me, maybe it's Rex that does it, where it's like a creatives or like a media centric car show, which I think will be fire. Anyone takes that idea, you know where it came from first. Maybe if he does it, it's cool.
No.
Anybody else?
Matt got that from B-Skills, man. He got it. He got it.
Yeah, no. The last one I didn't get a chance to go to, but that's what it looked like. All the cars were kind of spaced out.
Yeah, he did his thing, man.
You felt like from all the coverage that I saw, I felt like I was in a import automotive museum. So it's not like everything's smushed together. It's like spaced out and nice. And like I said, Beast Coast, you know, top tier.
Yeah.
Top tier guys.
What's some of the favorite events that you shot?
Cars and coffee, just random cars and coffees, because there's cars that pull up there that you're
I
like,
know.
this is in America now?
I
And like,
know.
oh yeah, I got this, imported over. I'm like, oh, the 25-year mark hit on that. Once again, showing my age. There's certain cars that I can't wait till they come over here. I'm counting down.
Yeah.
I've shot an Import Evolution show way back when. That was good. This random one, Tuner Status. I don't know if y'all heard about it.
Nah, something like.
Fuddrucker days are good.
Yeah.
I've shot Stance Innovator shows back in the day.
Yep.
A couple of those. There's another one. There's a big one that's coming up. Summer Sendoff. I love that one.
Get ready for the heat.
Oh yeah, I'm about to lose like 20 pounds. I'm gonna
Yeah.
come out there with abs. Dad with abs. Watch.
Listen, I wish. I wish.
Nah, we'll get there. We'll get there. I'm trying to think of other ones. Definitely the Beast Coast, and when it was in Boston. I missed the first one. I just drove by. The second one, I met you in person for the first time. And then Will's like, yo, you know Rex? I'm like, yeah, I know him. IG. He's like, that's him. I was like, word. Met LaShawn that same night too, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we was outside.
Seen Dave's brown Porsche for the first time in person. Mind blown. Mind blown. So, I'm trying to think of any other events. I don't travel for events because, like, I get the Sunday scaries like at 5 p.m. So
Yeah.
I gotta edit photos or at least get them off the drive, get my stuff ready for the week, and all that. So, I'm hoping to start traveling for shows. So
Okay.
that's something I want to do for sure.
So let's talk to the people, whether Facebook or IG, that you respect their eye when it comes to photography.
Gio from Stance Innovators. Matt from Beast Coast. Rex, Will, LaShawn. I'm going to put myself in there because you got to show yourself some love, right?
Definitely.
Every single one of these people I mentioned, and there's a bunch of others, but all these people I mentioned all have a different view on how to shoot a car.
Yeah.
And all those people have mastered their gear. And it shows. You can't, I'll say this right now to everybody, you can't charge anybody for your work until you understand what you're using and find the way you kind of portray your art. Because without that, someone's going to be like, well, you're doing something completely different because you're trying to copy somebody else. Find the way you see things and get it done.
So now we're in a space right now where things are evolving. We're seeing a lot more things and a lot more people on our devices and creative space and things like that,
Yep.
social media and things. And definitely besides photography, the one thing that we can relate to is being African American.
Oh, we going here. Okay.
What's it like finding yourself in the space as an African American, looking for the I don't want to say jobs, but the opportunities, and finding yourself in the spaces that allow you to create, and because it's different,
Sure,
and it's
sure.
not to pull a race card and things like that, but
It's a reality for us.
It's a reality
For sure.
where if you look on social media, like when I started, and I was looking for tips, tutorials, and things like that, there weren't that many of us, and those who were there, it took digging on social media.
Yeah, you're right.
Like actual digging, like on YouTube.
Yeah.
The fact that I had to type in how to shoot black weddings, how to speak to some of these cars that are in these luxury car markets and things like that. And because I'm not gonna lie, I've faced my own battles with the slight hesitance.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's two things when it comes to our melanatedness, I will say. The first thing with that is there's obviously the higher up you go in terms of the vehicles, right? the more monetary value. If you're shooting anything that's, I would say like 200,000 to $1 million, there's always that second look. I would purposely go to, places like that. I would go with a shirt tucked in, like looking business casual, like I'm going to work. And you get less of that. But if I'm going dressed like this, unless I'm wearing like a tighter shirt and they're like, oh, he might be a patriot.
Yeah.
No. Secondly, on the photography side, right? So I have a logo. You don't see my face, right? Now you doing with the podcasting thing, people know who you are even more, right? As time goes on. So someone DMs me, they're like, yo, your work is fire. I'm like, yeah, I want to shoot with you, man. I want to shoot with you. I'm like, okay, meet me here. They'll come. Serge? Yep. You see that micro reaction. They're like, oh, he's black? Most of my black customers are like, yes, he's black. I don't know if you've experienced that, but as black men in America, it's still something we got to deal with. But
yeah,
I think as with my younger clients, though, they don't care.
Yeah.
It's people that are older. But even then, like I've gone to conversations. I met my mentor because of automotive photography in traffic. One of the best people I've ever met in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Helped me just like steer my life in a completely different way.
Okay.
He's where I want to be. Let's just say that.
So, before we even get to that point,
Yeah.
I do want to ask, taking the photography and then turning it from hobby to business, what was that like?
So there's being a dad. That's hard.
Yeah.
Being in a relationship. Not easy. Being an entrepreneur. Right under family is that level of stress.
Yeah.
Making it a business is tough, but I think if you have a good character and just like I said, you treat people well, it'll eventually start turning around.
Yeah.
But in photography, I don't know if the audience knows this. It's feast or famine. There'll be times where things are rolling, and you're like, "This is how it's gonna be." I've had some great summers, and then there's other times it's just okay. This I'm gonna have to switch my marketing tactics, figure out some different things. So I'm very blessed to be part of a family that have 3 or 4 generations of entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
From in this country, out of this country. So I'm used to it. The feast or famine thing is like if you're gonna do a business, you gotta be in it.
Yeah.
You can't go, I want to be an entrepreneur. You can't just say it.
Yeah.
You gotta be in there, you gotta sacrifice, but it all turns out well if you have high character and you put the work in your craft. Learn your gear. I've said that at least 3 times, y'all.
Take them notes. Take them notes.
Learn your gear.
So, as we wrap up the pod, I generally ask 2 questions. We'll go with the first one. As a photographer,
Yep.
and we don't want to box you into a niche of just saying automotive photographer, but as an actual photographer, a respected photographer in the community,
Yep.
what was your favorite year?
2020 for sure.
Yeah.
2020. I've met so many people. There's people that I only see like once every 5 years. And they'll hit me up like, hey, I want to bring the car out. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I've had some great relationships from there, some networking opportunities, just people in general, like meeting people. I'm not a people person, but the photography has made me an extrovert.
Yeah.
When I have that in my hand, I'm an extrovert. When I have it in my hand, I'm like furniture. You don't even see me.
Oh my
Gone.
God.
I thought Serge was here. Nah, it's gone. So yeah, 2020 for sure. Obviously, the first year I started, looking back, hindsight, like, wow,
Yeah.
my first work was trash. But I was glad that I started,
Yeah.
right? So I look back, so I would say 2011, 2012, and 2020.
Okay.
2020 for sure. I mean, 90 shoots in a year, that's a lot of editing.
That's a lot, dude. And
a
that's
lot.
the thing with photography, like, it's the time to travel there. And this is like one of the parts that's harder to explain to the significant other. It's I'm hired for a gig, so they think it's work, but it's no. With work, you punch in, you punch out. That's your day.
Mm-hmm.
With photography, it's really you go there, you shoot, you leave, you come home,
That's
you
when the
edit,
work. That's when the work begins.
you edit,
Mm-hmm.
you send over, and after you send over, revisions. After you revise, they send it back over. It's not just a 9 to 5 type thing.
No,
You know.
I've had some. I've had to edit photos 1, 2, 3 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
If you as a dad, when you have a family, sometimes you got to stack your shoots.
Yeah.
So if you got to stack your shoots, you got to move them out, get prep them all for editing. So throughout the week, I'll hit this one tonight, next one the other night, and I always tell people, within 1 to 2 weeks, it'll be ready.
Yeah.
And that's just to give me time to make sure I give my best work to you. I can send them to you. They're gonna be trash. You got to take the time. So if people are rushing you, like, if you don't want to work with me next time, it's totally fine.
Yeah.
That's totally fine. I don't take anything personally. But yeah, there's those late nights, Rex. I know you know.
Yeah.
That's why I like watching your podcast when I edit late at night. Matt's podcast I listen to late at night if I got to edit. Yeah,
Yeah, man.
absolutely.
It's wild. And then you get those shoots, and before you even get home, hey, how the photos looking? And it's just
Or
like,
you just get the question mark.
bro.
But I give updates. I'll tell them, like, yeah, I'm about
Yeah.
2 days out, 3 days
Yeah.
out. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's one thing that killed me was setting the expectation, because I would shoot the photos, edit the photos, and spit it back to the same person like that.
Whoa.
And same night most times, because I would be up to the next day, 4:30 in the morning, editing the photos. And I put that bar on myself, so people started expecting that of me. And I'm like, yo, I'm with my kids right now. It was like, oh my bad. The last few times we shot,
Yeah. When
It's
you
right there.
when you set that expectation,
Bro.
it's tough to change that. So I always tell people, give me a week, maybe a
Yeah.
week and a half. I'll have them ready for you. So I try not to do things last minute. But don't you realize when you take more time to edit, they come out better?
Bro.
You do the first version. Okay, that's no. All right, let me pull back the highlights. Boom.
Or I'll edit, and then I'll sit on the photos. And then I'll come back and I'll look at the set like 3 days later.
Smart. Get that different eye. Yep. Yep.
And then you start seeing, I kind of did this too much, or I kind of did that, or I could add this, or I should have added this, or the color on this part, I've learned a lot from LaShawn. LaShawn.
He's the GOAT. Absolutely.
So as we get to the second question,
Yep.
disclaimer, once again, and I'll always give this, not to be morbid or anything like that. But at the end of the day, what's something you want to be known for and respected for amongst peers, within the car community, outside of the car community, with your friends, family, your kids?
Yeah. Two things. Consistency, not just like with my work, but just as with my personality. If I don't talk to you for like 5, 6 years, and we're talking right now, again, it's gonna feel like nothing changed. Now, I don't believe in changing, I believe in evolving, right? The
Yeah.
core of who you are should be the same. You just get better, you get wiser,
Yeah.
right? And get grayer, because that's what happens.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, I got like 16 now. I can count them.
Oh, man.
I got 16, but it's all good. And the second one is just being a high character person.
Yeah.
No matter what, I got you. That is all. Because that, unfortunately, nowadays, character's going out the window.
Yeah.
Make sure I'm teaching that to my kids, my son and my daughter. It doesn't matter. Be a high character person. People always have your back. Always.
Okay. All right, my guys, I want to thank my guy for pulling up today and taking the time out of his busy schedule. This has been long overdue. We talked about everything from family to business to coming up into this space as a creative, and much respect to your craft and what you do behind the lens.
Appreciate
Seriously,
it, man.
bro.
Photographers never hear it.
Yeah. Any shout outs?
Everyone I work with in the car scene, all the other creatives that I didn't mention, you all are doing dope things. Young ones coming up. Ask the OGs. We know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
We're not just, spitting out hot air.
Yeah.
Shout out to my kids. Shout out to my mentors that helped me throughout the way in terms of photography. Yeah, man. And shout out to Rex, man.
Appreciate it, bro.
For all the
Appreciate
dude, man. Like, I wouldn't associate with anyone that wasn't real. So there you go.
it. Where can they find you at?
Redlinesproject.com for automotive. And now the second one, 800-pound gorilla. That's my personal Instagram. My kids think I'm that gorilla from Transformers. So it's an endearing name.
Yeah.
Nothing bad.
All right.
800-pound gorilla, Instagram, and Redlines Project.
All right. Appreciate it, my guy. Well, you guys know the vibes. And thank you. Major shout out to Fusion 5 Motorsports once again for sponsoring today's podcast. But yeah, you guys know the vibes. Stay up. Stay blessed. Peace.
That's honey.